Do it. What's up, family? Welcome back to Virtual Tasting! Party number 60 in the world! Jesus. Let's go! All right, I'm so pumped to be back with you guys. We got a ton of really cool giveaways. You have to be present to win. We're about to, while everybody's joining, we're about to show a little. The girls are actually at volleyball practice, soccer practice. Yeah. So stay tuned for a second. We're going to give you a little bit of our kids dancing, some highlight videos while everybody joins, and buckle in because it's going to be a wild ride.
Obviously.
And that's only what, 2 years ago?
This one was last Christmas, but most of these are. Most of them are 20. Oh, we're back on.
Oh, we're back.
We were watching
Perfect
the
timing.
you guys are.
Awesome, guys. Well, we are so excited to be with you guys tonight with my beautiful bride, sidekick, and my other work bride, Tony Offill. We're absolutely humbled and stoked to be celebrating number 60 in the world, world's best vineyards. It is it's been a huge feat. I tell you what, they've got me wearing this crazy hair.
You look so good in it. What?
I'm not gonna wear this the whole time. We can take these off. No. So, guys, we got a bunch of stuff in store for you. We're going to do 3 different giveaways today. So stay tuned. I think we're going to give away 2 tickets to the sold out, or maybe we have 5 tickets left to the Alamo.
Yeah, a few minutes ago we had 10
Gotcha.
tickets.
Probably going to be sold out pretty soon. Yeah, so we have dinner at the Alamo. We're going to give away 2 tickets. We also have some other pretty cool items on giveaway tonight. So let's get some wine in our glass. The very first wine tonight is going to be the 2014 Blas Draw Morbid. This wine does have a little bit of sediment in it. We went back and forth on whether we should decant this or not, but we ultimately decided it was perfect. I hope you can see the amount of sediment in this wine. It's pretty significant.
Speaking of decanting, we do have a wine that we're tasting tonight that, if you're tasting along with us, it should be decanted.
Yeah.
We can do that now.
It's not, right?
Yes, we pass over the decanter.
Yeah, these little decanters are great. By the way, they're pretty inexpensive. You can snag them. Actually, we saw them on the website, these little Riedel decanters. Tony, you want to give them a little lesson?
Yeah, talk about how you decant and how you pour it. And why
So
you
you're
do it.
trying to not get any of the sediment in the bottle into the decanter. And you're also trying to open up the wine, because sometimes I usually decant if the wine is like reductive. If it's got like a lack of oxygen, you can kind of smell it right away on a wine. But this one doesn't look too bad in terms of sediment. The 14 has got a lot.
So you're just looking right here to see that sediment. One pro tip I would give you guys, we all are wine professionals, right? We're wine aficionados. And what do we do when we have wine in our glass? We swirl it, right? Well, something that I've noticed, and I actually learned this only a few years ago, one of our dear friends, Craig Collins, is a master sommelier. And winemakers are the absolute worst, right? We have nervous tics and we sit there and we
It
swirl.
just feels comfortable.
Swirl,
You feel
right?
so comfortable just swirling.
Especially with supple, soft wines like a wine like this that's almost 10 years old. If you swirl and agitate it too much, you're going to, some of those like very primary or tertiary delicate aromatics could get lost. So I would recommend smelling that wine. I typically smell the glass before swirling and then give it a little swirl. And you don't need to beat the wine up. especially some of these older wines. Now, if you get a big, burly, young, tannic wine, you can give it a lot of oxygen, it's not going to hurt it. But especially on some of these older wines, I highly recommend just give it a little swirl, but don't sit there for 10
You're gonna
minutes.
blow out the aromatics if you just keep swirling. It's really
Right. So while we have wine in our glass, by the way, this is
So
phenomenal. Yeah.
And like Tony said, this does have a lot of sediment in the bottle, so as you pour, gently pour.
And we've
Don't be afraid of sediment.
That's a good call. We've got a little Gouda to go with these, as well as some ribs. I'll let you guys eat a rib while
You're gonna let us get messy with this?
yeah. So this is this Mourvèdre is from Lost Draw Vineyards, one of my absolute favorite vineyards in the world. We've been partnering with Andy for about since 2010. It was our first vintage with him. Actually, have made some wine at our previous winery. I guess going back to 2007, 2008. Love that piece of ground. It's right outside of Brownfield, Texas, right on the Lost Draw, which is actually a drainage point where all the water collects in the high plains and drains eventually into some lakes or playas and rivers that eventually make it to the Rio Grande and the ocean. So
I don't want to get into the weeds or anything, but can you I've heard the story a bunch of times where you talk about how you met Andy.
sure.
Back in the very beginning.
It's a good
So
story.
yeah, Andy, I was at a little winery that doesn't even exist anymore, and Andy Timmons just showed up on our doorstep and was like, "Hey, I'm Andy Timmons, and I grow cotton and grain sorghum in the High Plains, and then I'm planting grapes, and I've planted some grapes, and I want to grow grapes for you." I was like, just freshly out of college, took my first winemaking job, and I was like, "Hey, I'm Chris Brundrett. I'd love for you to grow grapes." For us, that sounds great. And back then, it was really hard to find good growers.
Now, I was about to say, having someone knock on your door and be like, "I want to grow grapes for you."
Yeah,
It's not normal.
he just showed up on a Saturday, and back then there was like wineries in the hill country, and maybe 7 or something like that. And but it was really awesome that we just clicked, and I could tell right off the bat when I went to visit Andy that he was going to be a progressive grower. A lot of the High Plains growers, especially, are not only amazing people, but especially back then, they were concerned about like, hey, if I can make 10 tons an acre, that's good for everybody, right? And there was not a lot of people that were really receptive to like, hey, we need to grow 3.5, 4.5, 5 tons an acre to grow really high quality fruit. Andy really was, and that relationship Andy's one of my dearest friends, and I think he's been a mentor to me for a very long time, and it's been really cool to see where we started and where we are today. The conversations that we're having in the vineyard today are worlds different than what we were having 15 years ago. But it's been such a wild ride to see that progression in the crop out at Lost Draw and La Pradera and Timmons Estate. Really, the High Plains is fantastic. We're only about half done, and it's going really, really well.
I love, just before you go on to something else, we have so many people watching. Thank you, everyone who's commenting, telling where you're watching from.
Yes.
This is so exciting. Welcome to Amber, Mark, Lisa, Melissa, all these, we have Dallas.
Kessler, what's up? Get ready for that pheasant.
So much. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
It's exciting. So
Yeah, please jump on and tell us where you're
the
from.
reason we're here, we're celebrating, but we didn't talk about what it means to be on this list and how you get onto this list. I think that's important.
World's Best Vineyards. So there's 500 judges worldwide. These are all wine writers, sommeliers, and like restaurateurs. And we don't know who they are. I wish I did.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
Totally
You
confidential.
can't apply for this.
You can't apply, you can't vote, you can't, it's all,
It's all
we were shocked.
Insider stuff.
yeah. And so
Total surprise us.
what's crazy is you look at some of the people on this list, like
I
Dr.
mean, the other
Wilson,
vineyards that
Chateau
make
Kim, Jordan, Pinfolds, Runart, which is amazing, Bubbles, Mouton Rothschild,
Which is my favorite
Yeah.
Vineyard Vineyard.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Robert Bendavi, Banfi, Superuco, Dow, Catania was the #1 spot.
It's just such an honor to be listed among those names.
Ridge, which is one of the most iconic. I mean, that I fangirl over Ridge, and I'm so grateful to be on that list, and it really signifies a huge part of, I know, our lives has been dedicated to our team and our fans and our farming here at William Chris Vineyards. And I want to take a quick minute and highlight this guy. We're going to drink a lot of wines that our team made, and I was the winemaker fully dedicated to these wines back in the day. But I want to recognize Tony, because I don't think that we would have got here today without this guy. And I love you, man.
Pretty sweet of you.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks that now he's going to hit me or something.
I'm also hard on Tony sometimes too. But really, thank you. I think that your dedication, you have, we've been taking what so many men and women have done before us. Guys like Bill Blackman that have been out farming decades before we were in this business. Guys like Kim McPherson that Tony first learned from, and I've learned he's been a great mentor in my life. Guys like Bobby Young and Neil Newsom, some growers that have been fighting the good fight for a long time. And I feel gratitude and privilege that we're able to stand on those guys' shoulders and then continue growing the program. And I feel grateful to Tony that I feel like in some instances he was able to stand on the shoulders of the work that even we did before he got here, and able to really zero in and dial in these wines. And while I love these wines, I love the wines we're releasing as well. It's really awesome to see just the focus and intentionality just continues to get deeper and deeper and deeper with every vintage. No, I'm just kidding.
We had a great
Get back to your
question.
hole.
Yeah.
We had a great question about the best vineyard list that you didn't cover just now, and that was, do we know the criteria that these judges use to select the winners?
That
I
is,
don't think so.
I don't think we do.
yeah, I don't
It's
know.
not best vineyards, but I think it's the wine. I think it's a little experience.
It's good. I know it's experience and wine and quality. Yeah, so.
It's a great question, Michelle.
Yeah, that
We
is a
do
good
not
question.
release that.
So, awesome. Okay. Before we move on, is there anything?
We have to try the short ribs.
Yeah, okay. Dig in, guys. Let me know how
We
it
need
is.
one of those plates. You're
Yes.
not going to have any?
Yes, I'm going to have a short rib.
Okay, just making sure.
So we got smoked Gouda. Actually, I'm going to have another dash
I
of
think
this
one of
wine.
y'all gentlemen should talk about why Gouda and short ribs pair well.
Oh God, I am the wrong person to ask that question.
So that is
Chris.
the tannin structure. I would call this medium structure. By the way, this wine has aged to perfection. I would not put this in the cellar, and we only have a case or two left. I would not cellar this for another 5 years. This is everything that I think this wine can ever be is right in this glass right now. Is it going to be bad in 6 months? Absolutely not. But I do think this wine will be less than it is today in 2 years.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, when we first opened it, I was a little skeptical on how it was gonna.
Yeah, that sage was really coming out.
But everything, Mourvèdre shows sight better than any other varietal that I've ever worked with.
Mhm.
But this wine shows the vineyard, shows Longstrong so well, and the palate is there too. It's not drying out or anything. It's still really juicy, which I like.
That's a great call about Tony. Drying out. This wine is not drying out. This wine is juicy, so it shows me that it still has a little bit of ageability. We got a question.
Yep.
What wine are you?
Oh, we decanted the Tannat,
Yes.
but we're currently drinking the 14 Mourvèdre from Longstrong. I think it's interesting, Tony, that you said Mourvèdre shows the vineyard site more than other varietals. I've never heard anyone say that before.
It's very delicate, especially when you get it in the cellar. But yeah, it's just you can just tell the difference so much on each individual vineyard. I can go through and taste all of our lineup of Morbid, and Chris can too, and say this is Lampredura, that's Lostro, and this is Moonlight.
But you couldn't do that with 3 Malbecs, for an example.
I mean, I might with our wines, but with anybody else's wines, I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's
And I think the differences are more significant. How's that sound?
yeah.
Between sites. And what's crazy is those vineyards taste the same vintage after vintage after vintage.
Alan, I wish you could enjoy this rib with us. It is delicious.
Gianni, did you say we had one question?
Yeah.
That was
We already
it.
answered it.
That was it. What did we decant?
Okay, guys, it's another No Dump Wednesday. For all of you OG virtual tasting viewers, yeah, you know what a No Dump Saturday looks like. So we're not going to even use that much over here.
Well,
Okay.
I don't need to. I'm already.
Before we go we can pour the next wine, the Malbec. So if you haven't opened the 2015 Malbec from Lost Vineyards, please do that now.
While we pour, Tony, do you want to show our jar? And
Yeah,
we'll talk
this is
about
part of our
yeah.
giveaway.
So we have 3 giveaways. One of them has to do with this jar of quartz.
It is
How many
half-ish full.
quarts?
They told us the number, but
I
to
don't
be
know
honest,
the
I can't
number.
remember now.
When we walked in, she was counting every single
No,
quart.
she was
She
not.
counted every single.
Is that showing up? Can you see that at all?
Yeah.
Yep.
So guess how many
I'm gonna
quarts is this?
guess, because I don't know the number. 273. You think it's way more than that?
I don't know.
I
I guess
don't
we'll
know.
have to find out.
Oh yeah.
So if you
I'm always bad at
want to
that.
guess, or you should absolutely guess on
I'm
this,
writing down my guess. I'm curious.
please put this in the comments, and you'll be up for.
Michelle, it's way more
the
than
closest
36.
What do they win, babe?
You win. Ooh, one of our new. I think it's one of our new bags. Where is my key to the winnings?
You win something really cool. And
There,
we'll know.
yeah, it's a WC Provisions bag.
Yeah. Do we have one of those we can show people?
I don't know, but I've seen them before and they're beautiful.
Cool.
I actually want one.
Cool. All right. Let's keep on moving. Oh, by the way, it should be noted on our giveaway for the Alamo dinner tickets. If for some reason that you cannot make the date
It's
and you don't
October
want to give them away,
6th.
you can get 2 magnums
We have
instead.
a backup prize.
Awesome. All right.
You want to come?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
excited.
A dinner at the Alamo? Are you kidding me?
Who's done that before?
That's right.
Hands are down. Nobody.
All right, let's move on to the 2015 Malbec, which
Pour me
is right
some,
here.
please.
Bet. So Malbec is an interesting variety that I've always loved. I think, how many wine drinkers out there? I'd love to know. Did everybody start? Actually, hey, let's get a Vanna. Come on, Dylan, show them what the bag looks like.
Oh, should we get
Oh,
get
yeah.
closer?
Get in there, Dylan.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, sneak in there. He's got the bag.
Beautiful.
Hey, by the way, crew, I know, Dylan, you weren't around for all of them back in the day, but you got it in Graham. It's so great to get our virtual tasting crew back together. I don't know if anybody could tell, we had like 1 minute where Facebook was hiccuping, and I was like, oh God, here it goes again.
It's all coming back.
Okay, so 2015 Malbec, 2015, very, very hot, dry year. It was actually coming out of the drought. It was the last year of the really bad drought, 14 and 15. We had 2011 was a bad drought, and then 12 and 13 were better, and then 14 and 15 were pretty bad drought, especially in the high plains. Wow, the density of this wine is
Okay.
incredible. The perfuminess is really accentuated.
I was gonna say, do you want to talk about like the style of wine that you get during a drought?
Ooh,
That's a
yeah,
great-
which is what we're having right now.
Yeah, it would be perfect.
So
This
generally,
is-
you'll see the berries get dehydrated just a little bit at a quicker rate. So what happens is those wines in those hot, dry years, it sucks for the winery owner because we make less wine, which is a bummer. But it's also bittersweet because we make these very extracted, bigger, ageable
Concentrated wines. Yeah, that's kind of what we're seeing this year. And it's just, I always think about it just as your picking window, right? Your picking window just gets a little tiny bit smaller. So instead of, you have this window of like a week, you might have like 2 days to get it off before it really starts to raise it.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Just
It's
goes
like catching a
fast.
knife, and
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, awesome. It's great.
Yikes.
And if you catch the knife wrong, the berries
You
just
die.
the berries just dehydrate all the way. So and then you get left with nothing. So trying to catch and pick that. With shout out to our squad, Tate, Jose, Brad. We're all moved up to the High Plains now, so those guys are essentially living in all the vineyards. It's been so awesome that I've got a little bit more time with my family this year. Those guys are in the vineyards each and every day. Been up a lot, yeah. But
Okay, I have a question. For
Shoot.
a selfish question. Everyone's guessing. Gianni said some people are getting close, keep guessing. Are you going to tell them when they hit, or are we going to tell them at the end?
One more look.
we're gonna tell them at the end.
Give them a look.
Okay,
Give
I'm
them a
telling
look.
you.
I'll tell you at the end.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
Okay,
curious.
I'll cue you.
I'm sure they're wondering too, because
yeah. Well, okay, back to
so many good guesses.
excuse me, back to this Malbec. Back then we were using a lot of French oak on Malbec. I know that's still part of our program. Most of this Malbec goes into the Hunter. Are we doing a 100% Austral Malbec or?
Not for 22. Then there's a possibility for 23.
Gotcha.
Just because we have quite a few components that can go into Hunter for 23, but 22 is such a light year. I need like every drop.
Every
going
drop
into-
for Hunter and those main
So-
programs.
This isn't on script, but why was 22 such a lean year? Why do you say
It was the
that?
same thing. It's just drought.
Just drought
Yeah.
also.
And more so than this year.
Mhm.
This year we had rains up until, or really cool weather and then a
May.
little bit of rain up
Yeah.
until like May, early June.
Mhm.
22 was
No
was
rain.
nothing. Yeah, the entire year.
So it was a lighter crop. I think it's going to be a very good vintage.
Oh yeah, like we said earlier, the fruit is really concentrated, really big, ageable wines.
Just
And
less.
there's just not a lot of it. Yeah.
I think that's
Quickly, I forgot last year's weather.
one of the coolest things about being on the any wine journey. But all of you guys out there, obviously, like super fans, you get to be on this ride with us, right? You guys get to taste these vineyards and be a part of Texas wine history. And I've always said that wine is like baseball cards for adults that you can drink, which I think is the coolest thing ever. I loved baseball cards when I was a kid, but you can't really do a whole lot with them, right? You hold them, you look at them, you study them, and then you put them back in the case. And I think wine is very much like that, but there's like this crescendo that you get to enjoy. And what's even more special is like we're getting to drink these older wines right now, and we're getting to share a very unique moment. And tomorrow that moment will be gone. And I want to make a toast to you guys joining us, celebrating 60 best in the world.
Amazing.
And I'm so
Cheers.
grateful to be able to be sharing this moment with you guys. So thank you. Any more questions as they come through? Please shout them out. We have any shout outs, by the way?
Everyone's still guessing.
Mark
They're
Brown,
into
I
this.
agree. Still guessing. Okay, we decanted this tonight.
One thing we forgot to do when we were talking about Lost Star Vineyards, we have a picture. Did you pop that up, or we can do that? Just a whole picture.
Does Andy look young and spry in this
Chris
picture?
and Bill and Andy. It'll come up.
You like chow with it?
Now, we need to try. We have pepper sausage to try with our Malbec.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
That was fantastic. So obviously the guy
There they are.
The guy with the beard is Andy Timmons. Of course,
The
Mr.
big
Bill
beard.
Blackman. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I was on the phone with Bill today, and
Yeah.
man, I'm so grateful that we've been partners for so long, and then still we talked for 40 minutes today, just not about a whole lot of important stuff, just like little fun stuff. He's Bill.
Friendly call.
Guys, also too, heads up, Bill is getting ready to launch his tasting room. This is 100% Bill Blackman wines. We produce those here at William Chris Vineyards on Bill's behalf. But Tony is the man on that project. That's not a part of our company. That's 100% Bill. But get ready, stay tuned, because he's going to be opening his tasting room in Mason
I just tasted through those wines.
Yeah,
by the way,
they're really
like
good.
a week
Sure
ago.
did.
They're fantastic.
Yep. So be on the lookout. Go hang out with Billy. He's only making a couple hundred cases with each vintage, but it's most of that Blackman Ranch fruit goes into Enchanté, and then it's a small amount he keeps for himself. So stay tuned for those wines, and I'm sure that we'll give him another shout out or two.
I'm laughing at Jennifer's comment. She was like, I missed what the 60 means. Is it a combined age of you three?
Wow.
No.
I am 39, just so you know.
I just turned 22. So.
Okay, so 60, when I go repeat.
Number 60, which we fell 4 spots, by the way. We were number 56 last year.
A little pissed about it.
Yeah, a little pissed about it,
Yeah.
but I'm so glad we fell 4 spots, because as soon as we released this to everybody, we're actually on a team outing. We took the whole company to a Round Rock Express game, and we were at Salt Lake, and everybody's like, top 50. That's our cry. Let's. What is it going to take to get to top 50? So stay tuned, because we have some pretty fun things launching at the winery, some new experiences, which I'm pretty excited about.
Have we gone through the list and seen how many people other than us were on 2 years in a row?
Ooh,
That'd be
That's a
interesting
good
to find out.
I know Ridge was on last year. I know.
I feel like Mouton Rail Trail was probably on
Yeah,
I'm
they
not
were.
sure.
I know Mondavi was on 2 years in a row. I'm pretty sure Dow was on there last year as well.
Okay.
Garzon was on there.
Yeah.
Speaking of Garzon, it's pretty cool that Garzon is on the list at number 6, and they make a lot of Tanat, which leads us to our next wine.
To the Tanat.
I want to keep drinking this Malbec though, because it is so good.
It's still bright.
Yeah.
So
fresh.
So okay, that's interesting. This Malbec, by the way, guys, this is a 2015. This wine has, I don't know, 5 years, probably 5 years. And Malbec is interesting because it's not as tannic traditionally. It's generally pretty thin skinned, which is why so many people, or at least on my wine journey, I feel like we started with Malbec. It was
That was one of our first.
Chilean, Argentinian
Yeah.
Malbec that was pretty reasonable. You could go buy it at the store for
$10.
$10, and
Back when we were 22.
yeah. But this wine is very cool. The structure is still there. It is not drying whatsoever. So I think this wine is delicious right now, and I am super. I'm gonna put some of this wine in my cellar and go drink it next week, right? But I think you could let it hang out there for another 4 or 5
Yeah, I would
years.
love to see that wine in 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years, you think you could go 5 years?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so moving on to the
Yeah.
Tanat from our decanter.
The High Estate.
John, if you don't like Malbec, you should be drinking Boone's Farm.
That's right.
Ouch. Yes, Petit Verdot will come after Tanat. Yes, Nora, that is correct.
And I don't know if you guys are eating ribs right now, but you totally should be, because that rib was phenomenal.
Somebody else was, and they said it was a good pairing. Before we start talking about the Tanat, should we do our next giveaway trivia question? The next
Oh.
giveaway is based on a trivia question. Shall I ask?
Go for it. It's all you.
Okay.
Make sure you get it
Hopefully
right.
you guys did your homework based on our post earlier. What was the first Texas Hill Country winery that Bill Blackman made wine for? Dun, dun, dun. We didn't know that. Put your guesses or
I want to see if anyone gets this
answers
right. I bet
in
somebody
the
does.
comments. I bet somebody will.
I made that question super hard, by the way. But
First person answered correctly.
are you
First
serious?
person
God.
answer.
Who was it?
It hasn't popped up.
No, that's about it. I'm just saying first person.
Oh, the first
Oh,
person who
okay.
does it
Somebody already
correctly
answered.
wins.
Yeah, my bad.
And this one, you guys will win the Texas Wine Month virtual pack, which we'll be talking about what wines are in those in a little bit, but we'll do another virtual tasting to taste through some of those wines. It's now October 10th.
Cool.
Did somebody already get it? Somebody got it. I see it.
Who was it?
You can't see anything different than mine, right? Lisa Rice.
Awesome.
Becker is the correct answer.
Yep. Bill made the very first. I don't know if he made the second vintage as well, but he was actually hired by Dr. Becker out of Pheasant Ridge because he was making wine at Pheasant Ridge Winery, and he got hired and wooed down to the hill country.
That's what brought him to the hill country.
And this is in the 90s, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think this is like
Mid-nineties?
93, 91, and then
How many vintages?
things
was he
went
at
awry.
Two,
He didn't
three
last long.
vintages.
I think he was only there a year.
Oh, just 1 year.
Yeah,
Okay.
a year, maybe two, and then they got in a discussion that didn't end well, and Bill left, and
And we're glad for it because now we.
Yeah. and then he started
Of
Granite
course, he
Hill.
had some in between time.
Yeah, he got hired by Stephen Joy Johnson to start Granite Hill Vineyards, and away they went, which is the impetus of Enchanté.
Those of you who've been with us since the beginning, you remember we had most of our wines were from Granite Hill, the first few vintages.
Yeah.
That was our primary.
So
Source in the
first vintage, how many cases of wine did you make?
2008, we made about 400, 350, 400. I think it was like 16 barrels.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was 16 barrels.
Exactly 16 barrels?
Yeah.
And that was at?
We made it at
I know.
Brundrett Cellars.
Yeah.
And David, the guys at Brundrett Cellars, David Culkin, and the Culkin family were awesome. They were really gracious and allowed us to rent some of their space. Jim Brown, who was the old GM at Becker, was their GM at that time. Jim's an awesome
Oh,
dude.
I didn't realize he had been at Becker.
Yeah.
before.
Jim was a great mentor of mine as well too. So shout out to Jim, by the way, because he's such a special guy in my career for sure.
We work with his son now too?
Yeah, Robbie Brownie. Yeah, and is over at Texas Hills. He's the bottling line guy and
He's the do-it-all.
do it all guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So man, this wine is
This tonight, we are pairing it with some chorizo and
I gotta say, I hope you guys, we procured all these wines. It really meant the world to me when we said we wanted to do something really special for our fans and offer this pack. I think what did we do, about 50% off? I wanted you guys to, these wines are all so important in my life, in the life of William Chris Vineyards. And I guess we could have given them away, but we almost gave them away as a thank you to you guys. I know that we had a lot of internal discussion about what we could do really nice for our fans to be able to celebrate with us, and it means the world to us that you guys, I don't want these wines to go to anybody else but you to celebrate this momentous occasion. So thank you. I hope you're enjoying this high estate.
It's super good.
Yeah. So
This one's got legs on it. Like this one can go for another easy 5 years.
Yeah, maybe 10.
Yeah.
Maybe 10.
so this is a 16. When did we plant the Tannat here? 14?
2012 and 2015. And
Okay.
today, this estate, the high estate, is almost 100% Tannat. It is.
Except for a few test grows, it's all Tannat now.
Yep. And that's been, we've got a few different on-top clones. But
What
I'm
is that word you just said?
on top.
Okay, no one knows what that means. What is that?
That is a French clone.
Okay. So it,
Those are-
Tony said, it's just like testing, see how it
It's just a
grows,
different
how
clone
it
that's
does here.
sourced from France.
Okay. What is that?
I don't know any more depth to that.
That was
gonna be
enough
my
of
next
an
question. Is
explanation.
like because
That
we
was
have,
enough of an explanation. That was-
well, we have plantings in 2012 and 2015 of Tannat on the estate.
Mhm.
And so I was going to ask, what was the purpose besides what I'm thinking was money at the time? Why did we plant twice, 2015 and 2012?
So that's a great question.
Yeah.
So when we originally planted the high estate, we didn't plant the whole thing. So
Yes,
we planted,
because of money.
That's what I-
what I was thinking.
yeah, and then we planted a little bit more, and then I think it was. It seems like every other year we've ripped out a block and planted a new block. I love the Petit Verdot that we farmed in here. Petit Verdot is very, it's like the canary in a coal mine. So Petit Verdot will will tend to
If
like.
you got problems.
You got problems. Petit Verdot will show it, and so the disease pressure on the Petit Verdot was significant, and it ended up having to go. Although, and we're actually, I think we're about to drink it, right? It's one of my favorite wines that we've ever grown, but it's not very sustainable. And so when we look, like especially in 15, when we really started understanding what sustainable viticulture, sustainable business looked like and meant, and we made that choice to start looking at making regenerative farming like a focal point of what we do in sustainable practices. We looked at, okay, just because we can grow Petit Verdot here, and it may get disease and we have to spray it more and then like continue to replant it, is that sustainable? Probably not. So how can we make the highest quality wine in the world with the best varieties that do better year in and year out? And at least in my career here, there's not a better variety suited for the Pedernales River Basin, especially this site, than Tannat. It just continues to perform year in, year out. Holy shit, you're drinking this wine right now.
I totally agree. And like I was really skeptical on Tannat when I first got here because we were making a lot of Tannat and I never did with it before.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear about it, it's such a bruiser. Like there's so much tannin, there's so much extraction, but it makes a really great wine that can age, which is kind of the goal here, right? Especially off estate fruit.
Yeah, and you can see, like this wine was great when we bottled it and released it, but man, has this wine grown up and developed. Like this wine has developed personality in the bottle, and this wine is telling a whole different story than it was 3-4 years ago, and it's kind of written more chapters, if that makes sense. And I think Tannat is. We've made some beautiful High Plains Tannats as well, but I don't think we've made a Tannat in the High Plains like the High Estate. Yeah,
Tannat belongs in the hill country.
and you can point to a couple of different vineyards that are growing Tannat.
Vintage Press and High Estate.
Yeah,
they show you that Tannat needs to be here.
Yep,
they're so good.
And I think kind of to piggyback on that, what we've learned since we've opened in 2008 is we look at our values within our company and look at having the courage to look at the varieties we are producing and truly judge them. It's very easy, like it is so easy as a winemaker and a grape grower to go, hey, these grapes came from our vineyard and they're the best. Well, sometimes they ain't, right? And you got to be able to judge it and judge the wine. And sometimes we drink wines that we made, that have aged for 5 years, and you go, you know what? That's not as good as we could have done. Is that the best variety? Was that the best technique? And I think that something that makes us the best one of the best in the world is Tony and our team, Reese, Bill, our whole production team, the guys out of Tate and Rob, and Matt and Jose, all of our vineyard team, Andy. We're constantly looking at how we can be better. Like, not that we're like, oh, we sucked last year. It's like, no, that was good. How can it be exceptional? How can we take this that's a 98 and make it 102? And sometimes that means trying and failing and not missing the mark, but at least we tried and we understand that route doesn't work.
It's those efforts that got us to 60
Yeah.
in the world's best vineyards list.
And I think it's those efforts that are going to continue to propel us into the top 25 for sure.
Okay, I know we talked a lot about tonight.
Yeah.
Now it's perfect here, but you're scaring Amy. She says, does this mean Petit Verdot is going to be phased out?
Ha!
No.
No. We still make a lot of Petit Verdot. One of my favorite varieties to work with from the High Plains is Petit Verdot. Usually it comes from La Pradera, but we get plenty of it. We got 5 tons in 2 days ago, or yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
All the days are starting to put
So
together
it's
now.
Yeah,
still
from La
coming,
Pradera.
but not from High Estate.
No, but we do have some
Not
of those
More
with the
High
Lost
Plains.
Straws.
Oh yeah, Johnson City, and that fruit looked phenomenal this year.
That was really, really tasty. Yeah. I'm excited about that.
So rest
Yeah, we had to
assured.
do some horse trading with our compadres over at La Straw because they really love that Petit Verdot. They don't make any Bordeaux varieties.
Except for Petit Verdot.
Yeah, and we're like, no. We run a little bit over here, so we had to give Jordan and Brad some tasty morsels in trade. So, wow, I wouldn't actually. I think we should just keep drinking Tanat for the rest of the night for real.
Keep going. Which is, it's funny that you say that, and I'm like, yeah, because Tanat, I guess when it's young, is not my favorite because it's just so big and bold. But man, this older Tanat,
It's just such a
this
fruit,
is
and when it's
so
young, it needs age on it, and it really benefits.
Yeah, it's.
just,
I mean,
it smooths it out. It's
How
more
can you call-
elegant. It's so good.
yeah, elegant
So
and
good.
grace are two words that I would very rarely use to describe Tanat. This is graceful and
But
elegant.
it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Two questions.
Two questions.
Jennifer.
Oh, the Trebbiano. Okay, so Jennifer was wondering, any chance we will grow Trebbiano again?
No, I don't.
There's a chance for sure that we will grow. Well,
She's referring to the old granite
I
block.
know.
It's
And
a little block.
it was such a love-hate relationship
Oh,
with it.
That was such a cool block of
Yeah.
grapes.
I really love the wines that we made off that block. I don't know.
Is it difficult to grow? Is
Yeah,
it
well, it's either really good or
It's
really good or not usable?
Yeah, it's either 100% or it is just a failure.
yeah.
Is it easier in the high plains, maybe?
Well, they definitely grow Trebbiano in the high plains. Okay, it was great in the hill country, but it can rot really quick. What sucks is we could make the excuse to do it for sparkling, but I would not put that candidate as a good candidate for sparkling.
So that's a hesitant no?
I think-
Soft maybe.
Soft
It's kind
maybe.
of what
Now we could make Trebbiano in mid-kit for brandy, which
That is true, yeah.
or
No,
gin.
we're not speaking a whole different language.
Yeah, we do make quite a bit of brandy that goes into some of our dessert wines, which I will commit right now. I know there's a lot of fans out there.
Somebody just asked about blackjack coming back.
We have a ton of dessert wine in barrel. It's just Tony and I never sit down and actually blend this. So,
It has been
We
in there
are-
a long
I'm
time.
making a commitment to have at least 2 dessert wines in
Write
bottle
this down, you guys.
before the new year. How about
all right.
That's
Hey,
you
End
don't
of
have
remove.
much
End of
time.
remove.
Oh god.
Yeah,
3
we're
months
finishing
to
our
do
remove.
this.
We've been growing wormwood for seriously. We have been growing wormwood for years and aging it and drying it and yeah.
Not so much though.
No, Carol's got some more. So.
This is an interesting question. It's totally off of what we've been talking about. Robert asked, will Tanat become the cab with the right marketing?
That's a good question. I think it depends on you. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, Cab is always going to be Cabernet. Tanat could be the Cabernet of the Texas Hill Country because it grows so well here. It can take a heat, it can take a freeze, it can take really anything that you throw at it.
it's pretty PD resistant.
Yeah,
Versus disease resistant.
and it's that big sort of juicy, wine that
The people
people
often look
really
for.
adore. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a possibility. It's just we have to teach people about it.
Spread the
Yeah.
word. Spread
That's
the
it.
word, Robert.
That's a great. It's doing things like this. It's you guys sharing this wine with your neighbor. It's asking for Tanat on a restaurant menu. It's going to HEB and saying, "Hey, can I try some Tanat?" Or going to your wine shop. That's what turns the tide. And honestly, that's why I think wine in general can make the world a better place. Is when you drink a Coors Light, right, or a Miller Lite. Like, yeah, maybe you do it by yourself, or maybe you do it with a buddy, but you're not really focused on the product. You're just using it as a beverage to relax. And I think wine does something totally different because a lot of you guys watching tonight are drawn together, not only for this video, but to share in a beverage and have a more in-depth adventure. You guys are having an experience on these wines. You're thinking about what were you doing in 2016, right? You're thinking about the weather, you're thinking about the people that grew these wines, and it's bringing you guys closer together because you're sharing an experience. You're not just enjoying a beverage. And I I don't know. I think the more that we can do that, it not only makes the world a better place, and it opens the door for unique experiences like Tanat to really be exceptional, because like that's what a developing wine region does, is it continues to share its story over and over and over, and you guys are all a part of our story. That's like, you know how many people knew about Tanat in 2012? Like 3 of us, and now there are so many more people that know about Tanat. And guess what? If we all go tell one person, if we snag a bottle and go over to our neighbor's house and say, hey, there's something really cool that I want to share with you, and you share this wine with them, like that not only will create a unique and amazing moment, but open the door for people to enjoy Tanat all over the world.
Okay, Chris just poured us some 16 High Estate Petit Verdot, and wow, the nose on this. Wow. Also, Kim asked, we may have already said, and we did, Kim, but I'm glad you asked. World's Best Vineyards is what rated as 60. You can look up the full list.
Yeah.
Very much publicized. I don't know if we've linked to it in one of our posts, but probably. But you can just Google it. You can find this year, last year we're on that list also, and previous years.
So number 56 last year, number 60 this year. So, wow, Petit Verdot,
Wow.
aged cheddar.
This is so good.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, so the last 2 wines from High Estate, both 16. Is it the vintage? Is it why these are both
Vintage was really good in
phenomenal.
16 for sure. 16 was way better in the Hill Country than it was in the High Plains. 16 High Plains softened out a little bit quicker. We got a little bit of late season rain, and it wasn't as strong with the vintage, for sure.
Ooh, this goes with this aged cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes,
You got it, dude.
this is on it.
Wow.
Yum.
This
Yum.
wine is a monster. I think this wine probably has 5 years left in it.
There's still a touch of reduction on those too,
Mm-hmm.
which I always kind of like.
So tell the fans out there, Tony, what that reduction.
So it's just simply lack of oxygen. It's a really.
What note are you smelling here that could tell you that there's
It's kind of a sulfur compound kind of a thing.
like a matchstick?
Matchstick, or maybe like a little. This sounds really bad, but it's almost like a little rotten egg. Just a little touch of it.
That does
Which
sound
is-
bad, but I'll go with
But
it.
it's not a bad thing when I smell it in a wine. And I hate to give you a compliment, but that is a very, I really love that style of winemaking. It's reductive, sort of old world style of winemaking. Which, I mean, Josh was huge on that too.
Mm-hmm.
And
We beat it into him over.
you know, that style of winemaking that you and Bill and Josh had before I got here, I really adored. I love the low intervention, old world style, just kind of bare bones winemaking.
So has that style changed since you've become head winemaker?
I mean, the wine's a lot better now.
God.
No, it's always been sort of the same thing. We haven't really changed the winemaking style. It's just we're more focused now. I think we're really laser focused on what we're doing. The style has a name. Everybody knows what we're doing, and we're moving forward in that direction. I was thinking about this like during the past week. I always think about y'all making wine here without any of the equipment or like the technology that we have.
I wish we had pictures we could show of like what I didn't do one, but
It's all
They used to
big
make
fermentation.
wine.
I would
Oh my
freak out.
That's funny to think about that. Back in the day, yeah, we had very, very little fun toys to play with.
And I get really pissy if I don't have like glycol for 2 or 3 days. So, didn't have anything.
Yeah, we didn't have cooling. We had cooling as an air conditioner.
Yeah,
we
we
didn't
had
have.
swamp chillers.
Yeah, we didn't have like cool tanks. I call cool tanks. And all
and
the
yet
fun
we
toys.
survived.
Yeah, all those fun toys that we have now. Which I'm
But
not
it's just
saying we have.
it's a testament to you guys producing a wine like this without all of that equipment. Like that takes real skill and talent.
Thanks, man. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say we have every toy imaginable, but we have almost every toy.
We have almost now, yes. I mean, there's like 20 things on the list that I want. But we're close.
Oh man.
You know, it's crazy, these expressions of the high estate, you taste that they're both Pedernales River Basin,
Yes.
but the Chenat and the Tifredo are just, they're both wonderful, but it's interesting to taste the differences, and they're farmed right next to each other.
They're farmed right next to it. There's a lot of differences, but I think the main sort of vein in both of these wines is just concentration. It's so concentrated, it's just impactful, which I really love.
That's what the Pedernales River Basin, for all you fans out there that you have tasted any of the vintage press wines or the artist blends for the last couple of years, those wines are all from the Pedernales River Basin. The Chenat Tifredo, obviously from Pedernales River Basin. We are actively working with Texas A&M on developing an AVA within the Texas Hill Country.
Can you show them? Johnny, we have a map that shows.
Oh, we do have a
their
map?
house.
Cool.
Okay, you're on it.
Cool. So we've done a lot of work with the university. You know, we get to lecture there. We've worked with the viticulture and enology school there to highlight different students or use different students to work on some of these projects. I think you guys all are aware of the Lano Uplift AVA application that we really pushed forward. And it's not approved yet, but that's going up for TTB, which I'm excited about.
It's a long process, so hang in there a bit.
Yeah.
It's, what is it, usually 2 to 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
It's a very long process.
Yeah, 2 to 3 years. We're also doing the Del Valley or the Living Waters AVA, as well as the Pedernales River Basin. So that is like, because of you guys, because of the support that we've received, that frees us up to be able to go like focus. And it's like, because I know that somebody is thinking about how we're making our wine each and every single day, and how every barrel is getting filled, and how every wine is getting bottled. That frees me up to be able to like go work on those projects, right? And our team is so amazing, and our tasting room team is so amazing. And I think what's interesting to think about is like whenever I started not making wine every day, you know, that it was because our business needed a different attention in all these different areas. And it's been really wonderful to see how our business has grown, because when you're wearing 50 different hats, and you have to wear 50 different hats every day, it gets pretty wild, and you quickly realize you can't do all 50 hats great.
Do you want to just wear this one?
Yeah. And it's so great to be able to like, oh, it's actually going to put it back on.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, for you.
You're fine.
Yeah.
You're good.
If they just tuned in, they may have missed.
There you go. Yeah. Oh my goodness, you should take that off.
No, not good? Okay. Your wish is my command.
All right, let's get back. We got some giveaways.
Here's what I want to know. How many corks are in that jar?
Oh,
No one's gotten it?
Who's the closest?
Yeah, who's the
Yeah, are we
closest?
doing like
Was it
a prices right?
me? Was I the closest?
What'd you get?
We're at 273. No.
Who's the closest?
I got it.
Oh,
I think I know Tabitha Q on YouTube was close earlier. She was 9 away.
9
But
away.
she's been guessing like nonstop.
Oh, well, Tabitha, all of
that's
your
cheating.
guesses have got. Well,
Hey,
that's
so
not cheating.
No, look again.
Don't-
Right?
don't
got it.
hate the game.
Okay,
It's
so
every number.
Johnny thinks Tabitha, you might be the closest. He's going to confirm.
Tabitha, are you still on?
We
If you're
already got the winner to the trivia question, and then we do have a third giveaway.
Yeah.
And that third giveaway is going to win the 2 tickets, the Alamo dinner, and that's just for someone who's participating, right? We're just going to put all those names in a hat. Is that right?
Yeah, or you have to have bought the packs.
Okay.
So guys, before we do that, I want everybody to, if you guys are on Instagram, you can follow Catherine, Wine Grower's Wife. You can follow me, IGHYETX. Also, you have to follow William Chris Vineyards. That's how you probably got here. Definitely plan a trip to the Hill Country. Guys, our vineyard table experience is so phenomenal. If you haven't been, I highly recommend it. We just launched a brand new experience, the cellar experience. You get to go taste in the middle of our barrel cellar, which is just a mile and a half down the road from the winery. I highly recommend it. You get to sit down with one of our most advanced sommeliers and do a really in-depth cellar experience and taste some old vintages. You can find that on the website as well. Also, if you haven't seen if you haven't been by lately, there's so many cool little areas and nooks and crannies on the property that are developing, and our team is just getting better and better and better. We've got some new faces. I highly recommend scheduling your appointment. Also, connect with our concierge team too, because they can help not only make dinner reservations, they can hook you up at some of our other properties. If you guys haven't been to Lost Rock, Johnson City, the winery production facility is almost finished. Andrew's going to be moving him and his team back that way here pretty quick, which is pretty awesome. Also, if you haven't done the Uplift experience, it just changed a little bit too. The culinary component changed. And if you haven't tasted all the Uplift wines or gotten to see the vineyard up there, it's really, really incredible. So lots of fun stuff happening.
So much, oh my gosh.
And stay tuned because we're gonna have a little bit of a announcement, not tonight, but stay posted on the eclipse that's coming up as well.
Well, and Chris mentioned all of the in-person experiences, but next month we'll be doing another virtual tasting, and we've got a pack that's available for that. We're going to be sharing the secrets of High Estate.
Yeah.
It's October 10th. We hope you can join us. And our pack, do you want to run through the pack?
Yeah, we've got Granite Hill Merlot from 2016, the 2020 Andes Block High Estate Orvet, 2017 Sangiovese from Phillips Vineyard, 2018 Sangiovese from Phillips Vineyard, 2019 Artist Blend, and 2019 Vintage Press Tonight. So some really special wines that really haven't seen a lot of. We didn't produce a lot of these wines in high amounts. So a lot of these have just come out of the cellar. So and I think you guys probably already heard Kath and I are moving. So our library is getting condensed, which is our loss and your gain, which is why you're getting to enjoy some of these wines. Also, I want everybody to get online right now. If you want some of these, like first come, first serve, there's only a couple of cases of each of these left.
Talk about this one.
Yeah, you, for all of our wine club members watching, if you put Alamo 25, each of these bottles you can get 25% off.
It's
of.
like your discount code, promo
For
code.
some of these, I only have 3 cases or 2 cases, so I want you to have them. Like, trust me, I have a few bottles for myself, but I didn't need 5 cases. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's tough to let go of, but I want you guys to drink them. Like, they're all of my children, so I want you guys to enjoy it. So all of our members can use Alamo 25 and get 25% off. This is only a code that's good for you guys. It's for the next 24 hours. If any of your friends are watching, they're not wine club members, and you don't want to let them cheat on your account, that's fine. You can put Alamo 10, ALAMO 10, and get 10% off. So, all right. What's the final count? Who's the winner?
You gonna write it down or just tell you?
Just tell us.
Final count 336.
336.
And the first
Was way off.
person that gets it correctly was Tabitha Q on YouTube.
Tabitha.
Her guess was 345. We had a couple people guess close, 345, 346, but after she got it at 6:26 p.m. She was the
Okay,
first one.
Tabitha was the first.
She just kept on hammering numbers.
Yeah, she was just like, whoa. Around 6:26, she got.
Congratulations.
She knows how to play the game.
We
Good
didn't
job,
put any
Tabitha
rules.
Q. We did not put any rules.
Don't hate the player.
All right,
Yeah.
Tabitha.
All right.
Great job.
So we have one more winner, and that's the Alamo dinner. Right? Is there anything else we need to cover before we draw?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
This
This
may
is the
take
most
a
exciting
minute.
finale.
So also, guys, I want you all to join us for our Texas Wine Month virtual tasting pack.
October 10th.
$250, ship it straight to your house, shipping included. So you can load up on a case, you can get half that, and plus, pick some of these wines out. Good luck on your markets at Go to go get those, because I'm sure there's a bunch of people already online playing around with those. So, all right, my love.
You get to do the honors.
And seriously,
You
guys,
gotta be here to win. So if you're here, comment. If you're not, we're going to the next person.
this celebration is for you guys, by the way. Thanks again. I know I've said that a couple times, but man, I just, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, because couldn't do it without you. You mean the world to us, and 141 families have amazing lives, right, guys? Right?
Right.
We all get
Where's the sweet side of him all the time? I get the opposite of
You see me around more often, Tony.
no, but we have a lot of all 141 families are grateful because we get to do what we get to do. I mean, how cool is it that we get to grow grapes and make wine and share it and market it, do videos about it, and have an amazing tasting room experience and be able to have fun.
This winter's waiting to hear it's them.
Okay, who is it?
Krista Allen.
Are you on, Chris
Are
Allen?
you
You have
with
to be
us?
live to win.
Are you
Krista Allen,
with
if you're on, you
us?
better.
The Alamo dinner?
If you're not, we're going to keep on moving, Krista Allen.
I'm on
I'll put a
delay.
timer.
Yeah, I'm on a
Timer,
delay,
yeah.
so you have to tell me because you get the. I think you have.
You
more
got
hours.
1 minute. Also, guys, while we wait, in case there's
While
another.
we wait, I'm gonna do
winner.
some words.
Yes, and what other questions do we have while we wait?
That's a great. I really think I've been doing pretty good keeping up on these questions. But Cindy, thank you. She loves the virtual wine tastings. We love it too. I really kind of missed it when COVID was over and virtual was kind of over.
I've got a question.
What's that?
Shoot.
So I know I've heard this story a whole bunch of times. We've got time to kill. How did you meet Bill Blackman?
Ooh, this is a good one.
So how did I meet Bill Blackman? I had met him at a AgriLife Extension event. I was applying for jobs outside of Texas, and because I was disappointed with how people didn't care about growing grapes and making high quality wines. And so I was looking out in California and West Coast, and then Bill,
Not to interrupt.
timer's
but-
over, you lose.
Carol Kelly.
Is Carol Kelly on? You better respond fast.
Here,
You got a 1 minute timer,
I'm gonna
Carol
give this to
Kelly.
Gianni.
Yeah.
So y'all can tell your story while he draws the next one.
So we went to an AgriLife Extension day in Winter Granite Hill, and I thought every vine was beautiful. It's like the best vineyard that I'd ever been to. And of course,
It's like somebody
you couldn't
touched
see it
each
from the
individual
road.
vine.
Yeah. It was phenomenal. And anyways, it was really that day that I was like, man, I want to know as much as this guy. And it really changed my life in such an amazing way. I realized, oh, you can grow really high quality grapes in Texas, and it's that smart.
So I'll have a question for you.
Okay.
We still do all the time.
Yikes. I do have two questions here for
Okay.
Brendan.
So at what point did you think we're gonna be okay? Just as a family kind of thing.
That's good because really, when Chris was like, "Okay, me and Bill are gonna do this," I was like,
Oh shit.
"Okay, I'll keep teaching. Fingers crossed."
She's out.
She's out.
Bye.
Next drawing.
Next person.
Who is it, Johnny?
Next person we have
This is for 2 tickets to the Alamo.
Craig and Lori Hughes.
Craig and Lori Hughes.
Are you on?
If you're with us, tell us in the comments. So yeah, first I was like, okay, this is Chris's dream. I'm on board. We'll see what happens. I still think
the
kind of
answer can
pinch
be.
me.
The answer can be when I came on. That's fine too.
No, I really
Whoa!
think
No.
I really think that I felt comfortable. For me, it's relative because I was a teacher when we started. And when we were pregnant with our second kid, Chris had been asking me to come on board with William Chris and leave teaching and work with the family. And because of the second pregnancy, because of all the things that go in with being a mom and taking care of a baby, I was like, okay, maybe we could do this. And it was at that time I was like, okay, this company is stable enough. We can put all our eggs in one basket. We don't have to have an income from somewhere else. We're gonna make it. That was in 14. I probably knew it a little sooner than that, but that was when I was
Comfortable.
all
Yeah.
feet in.
I wouldn't go comfortable with that. There was there was so many times when we couldn't, like, people would call us and say, hey, do you want to come over for dinner? And be like, we can bring you wine and deer meat,
Yeah.
tortillas. Like, literally, we had
There
every
was a
single
long
dollar.
time we were living on my teacher's salary and just racking up the debt.
Mhm.
Look at us making it work.
You're doing fantastic.
All
Now we're
the
millions of
things
dollars in debt. It's so good. It's so good.
But we're happy.
But we got a plan.
Followed our dream. Did we run out of time for that one? Are we ready for
We
the next
did.
one?
All right, Gianni, who's next?
Who's
We're
next?
picking somebody from the chat.
Oh, picking somebody. Okay.
We're just verifying that they purchased.
Oh,
Gotcha.
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 We did have another question though, and the question was, what is your favorite year and wine that you like? I think this must be for Tony. Since you've been at William Chris, what's your favorite year and wine?
Urban lager.
I feel like 2018 was a really great year. It was very mild, just in terms of like drought and heat and cool nights up in the high plains. But that year was special to me because I feel like I kind of got into my own element during that year. You know, Josh was running the show at the time, and I like being with Josh and being with you. It's like drinking from a fire hose in the very beginning. There's just so much information in 2017. But in 2018, I felt
High
like
expectations.
yeah, and there was just such a. But that's what I love. I love the intensity, pressure of harvest. It's my favorite time of the year. But 2018 was really that sort of year where it was like, all right, I'm going to take some things and I'm just going to drag them along with me, and we're going to make something good.
That's when you started doing like more. You took the work of extended maceration and like.
Well, that was the whole thing in 2018. There was just a lot of experimentation, which is what I'm really passionate about. And let's see how far we can push something. Let's see what we can do. And if it's bad, then okay, we learn from it. And if it's good, then let's keep hammering it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think 2018 was that year for me.
Yeah.
I remember when you first were doing that extended maceration. I was like, what?
Yeah, everybody hated me for a little bit.
Well, we were like, what is he doing? I don't know if this is right for William Chris, but
Right.
it was cool.
Turned out good.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
All right,
I
Johnny.
like Kimberly. She says, cheers to 56 last year, 60 this year, and #1 next year.
Very good.
I like the thought process, Kimberly.
All right, guys.
Ready?
If you're drinking this pack right now, comment.
Yes.
If you're drinking one of the
You're
wines
drinking
from this pack
What
right
we're
now,
drinking.
Chris,
I
give up your hat.
might make you the winner.
Tell them to guess what the hat is.
Oh,
Don't show it.
somebody asked, where can I get that hat? But I didn't know whose hat they were talking about. So I didn't say anything. And it wasn't my hat.
all right, Johnny, give me a name.
Oh, man. Oh, Mark Brown is drinking this pack. Mark Brown.
Mark Brown, congratulations.
Come to the Alamo with us, sir.
You get 2 tickets to the Alamo. Congratulations. I cannot wait to see it. Guys, awesome afternoon.
Thanks for
awesome
celebrating with
evening. Yeah,
us.
and by the way, it is raining in the hill country.
Oh, we need it.
Oh, but as everybody knows, we're in the old farmhouse.
We meant to talk about that.
Yeah, we didn't. We kind of missed out on our
This is the
script.
original
So,
tasting room here.
yeah, the No Dump Wednesday got to us.
Next
Guys,
time it'll be No Dump Tuesday, October 10th.
Yeah.
I hope you join us with that pack.
absolutely. Guys, appreciate you so very much.
Cheers.
Catherine,
Oh, I
Tony.
can't cheers them tea. Hold on.
That's
Hold
right.
on. Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you back October the 10th for some more fun times. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.